Decoding Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, OCD. Welcome back to Decoding Human Nature. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our deep dives into the complexities of the human mind. Today, we're going to decode one of the most misunderstood mental health disorders, Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, or OCD. While many of us casually say things like, "I'm so OCD," when referring to being tidy or liking things organized, the truth behind OCD is far more complex. It's not just about being neat. It's a real mental health condition that causes individuals intense emotional and psychological distress. So, in this video, we're going to break down exactly what OCD is, how it develops, its impact on people's lives, and most importantly, what treatments are available. And by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of this condition and how it affects millions of people worldwide. Before we start, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue to produce content like this, decoding the mysteries of human behavior. It means the world to us and helps keep this channel running. Now, let's get started. What is OCD? Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, or OCD, is a mental health condition that's characterized by two main components: obsessions and compulsions. Obsessions are persistent, intrusive thoughts, urges, or images that repeatedly pop into a person's mind. These thoughts are often disturbing or distressing, and they can vary greatly from person to person. Common obsessions include fears of contamination, harming loved ones, or even fears of making a mistake in a seemingly minor situation. Let's look at an example. Imagine you've just locked the door and are about to leave for work, but suddenly you're hit by a thought. What if I didn't actually lock the door? What if someone could get inside and steal something or harm my family? This is a classic obsession, a fear that something bad will happen, even if there's no logical reason to believe it. But here's the catch. These thoughts don't just go away. They start to build and take over a person's mind, causing anxiety, panic, and a strong urge to do something about it. And that brings us to the second component, compulsions. Compulsions are repetitive behaviors or mental acts that a person feels compelled to perform in response to the obsession. The purpose of performing these compulsions is to reduce the anxiety caused by the obsessive thought, or to prevent something terrible from happening. Going back to our example, the person may feel the need to check the lock multiple times, perhaps even 20 or 30 times, before they can leave the house, just to relieve that overwhelming fear that the door is unlocked. The checking, however, doesn't make the thought go away for long. It's a temporary relief, but it never fully disappears, creating a cycle that's hard to break. The cycle of OCD. At the heart of OCD is what psychologists call a vicious cycle. It starts with an obsession, an intrusive, anxiety-inducing thought. This thought causes intense emotional discomfort. To alleviate that discomfort, the person performs a compulsion, a ritualistic behavior that provides temporary relief. However, once the compulsion is done, the obsession often returns, sometimes even more intensely. And so, the cycle begins again. It's a never-ending loop that can consume hours of a person's day, leaving them exhausted, frustrated, and trapped. Over time, the cycle can get worse. What might start as an hour of compulsions, a day could escalate to several hours, affecting personal relationships, school, work, and even their ability to leave the house. The cycle of relief, followed by further obsession and compulsion, only fuels the disorder, making it harder for individuals to break free. Types of OCD. OCD can manifest in many different ways, depending on the types of obsessions and compulsions a person experiences. Here are some common types of OCD. Contamination, OCD. This type involves a fear of dirt, germs, or contamination. The person might feel the need to wash their hands, clean their environment, or avoid certain places or people to reduce the perceived risk of contamination. This can sometimes lead to excessive washing, sterilizing, or avoiding public spaces. Symmetry, OCD. People with symmetry OCD feel the need to arrange objects in a particular order, align things in a perfect sequence, or ensure things are just right. This can extend to things like arranging books on a shelf, straightening pictures, or even obsessively counting or tapping objects. Checking OCD. This type involves repeated checking to ensure that everything is safe or secure. The person might feel compelled to check that the doors are locked, the stove is off, or the lights are switched off. Sometimes multiple times. Even after checking, the anxiety doesn't subside, so the checking continues. Intrusive thoughts, OCD. Intrusive, disturbing thoughts are common in this subtype. These thoughts might involve fears of harming oneself or others, having violent urges, or fearing that something catastrophic will happen if the obsession isn't addressed. The person may engage in mental rituals to neutralize these thoughts. Hoarding OCD. Hoarding involves the difficulty of discarding objects, even if they hold no value. The person may fear that getting rid of an item will result in dire consequences, or they may simply feel emotionally attached to everything they own. Hoarding can lead to a cluttered, unsafe living environment. The causes of OCD. So, what causes OCD? Well, much like many other psychological disorders, OCD is caused by a mix of genetic, neurological, and environmental factors. Genetics. There is a clear genetic component to OCD. Studies show that if you have a first-degree relative with OCD, you're more likely to develop it yourself. In fact, research suggests that genes play a significant role in the development of the disorder. Those specific genes linked to OCD are still being studied. Brain structure and function. Scientists have found that people with OCD often have different conditions, e.g. strep throat, may trigger or exacerbate OCD symptoms. Childhood experiences of abuse, neglect, or even excessive control can also increase the likelihood of developing OCD. The onset of symptoms often occurs after a significant life event or period of increased stress. OCD treatment options. Although OCD can be a debilitating condition, there are effective treatment options available. Let's explore what's currently used to help individuals manage and reduce the impact of OCD on their lives. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and exposure and response prevention, ERP. One of the most effective therapies for OCD is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, specifically a specialized form known as exposure and response prevention, ERP. ERP involves gradually exposing a person to the situations that trigger their obsessions, while preventing them from performing the compulsive behavior. This helps them learn that the anxiety caused by the obsession will eventually subside on its own, without the need for the compulsion. Medications. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, a type of antidepressant, are often prescribed for OCD. SSRIs can help regulate the serotonin levels in the brain, which may reduce the frequency and intensity of obsessive thoughts and compulsions. Medications like fluoxetine and sertraline are commonly used. Support groups and family therapy. Support groups can be incredibly beneficial for those with OCD, as they provide a safe space to talk about the disorder, share coping strategies, and connect with others who understand what they're going through. Family therapy is also crucial to educate loved ones and help them support the individual more effectively. Support for those with OCD. Along with traditional treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and medication, some people find relief through complementary practices such as mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness techniques. Mindfulness teaches individuals to focus on the present moment without judgment, which can be a powerful tool for those with OCD. By learning to observe their thoughts and compulsions without reacting to them, individuals can start to break the cycle of obsessive thinking and compulsive behavior. Meditation for anxiety. Meditation can also help reduce the overall anxiety that